What is good, people? Welcome back to another video. Today's video, we are reacting to Barcelona's preseason win, 7-3 over FC Seoul. I don't know how you say their name, but we're just gonna be going into a deep dive of this game today. I posted a TikTok on it, just give a little quick points. I posted it on the YouTube short on my channel as well. Check that out if y'all haven't already. But just wanted to, go in a little bit, talk about what I saw, what I liked, what I didn't like as we approach the La Liga season. I'm just going to jump right into it. So, starting with the first goal, it was a pretty even match to start, going back and forth. Really not a lot of complaints from how we looked at the start of the match with the first 11. Only difference was Ronald Araujo started instead of Inigo Martinez, and the rest of the 11 was the same as what we expect going in from last year. And in the beginning of the game, like I said, it was going back and forth. And then I'm going to pull up the timestamps because I have notes on the game that I wanted to share. So this is in the 8th minute. It was good pressing from Barcelona. The ref did get in the way a little bit, which allowed Dani Olmo to be able to steal the ball and start the counter. And on that counter, he found Lamine Yamal on the right. Good shot, good save onto the post. And after it hit the post, Lewandowski was right there for a tap in. It was a good break, good counter. What I like about Hansi Flick's system is, Barcelona, we're going to do our thing with possession, right? We're going to do our thing. But ultimately, what makes this team so lethal, different from the Barcelona teams I watched over the years, was just the fact that as soon as they win the ball back, no matter where they're at on the pitch, it could be midfield, it could be the final third. If they win that ball back, they're aggressively pushing. Now, they're not going to force it. If it's 2 Barcelona players and it's 5 defenders, they're not just going to relentlessly, keep pushing. I'm not saying they're doing that. But at the same time, if there's an opportunity to push, if it's 3-on-3, 4-on-3, 4 defenders versus 3 Barcelona players, we'll do that. So in that case, like I said, they lost the ball. Dani Olmo did a good job of who I've been critical of Dani Olmo, and I'm gonna get on him a little bit later. But he did a good job winning the ball back, playing it into Lamine, and like I said, Lamine did his thing, cutting inside, and took the shot. The goalkeeper made a decent save to push it onto the post, and Lewandowski was there. So that's 1-0. And on the second goal, this was all Lamine Yamal, and I believe, honestly, he must have heard some of the criticisms or something. I thought it was petty and unnecessary, the criticism that he was receiving, because it's preseason. It's the first game in number 10. He's not going to look like Messi, first of all, at all. Like, there's only going to be one Messi, right? But also, with Lamine Yamal, he's just going to be doing it his own way. He's still a teenager. He just turned 18 years old, so y'all got to give him time. But I think he did hear a bit of the criticism. I don't know how much he took it to heart just after one game, and especially that one game being a preseason game. So I'm not sitting here and say that was the fuel to his fire, but I do believe he at least heard it. Somebody in his camp heard it, because I know I've seen it, and it kind of tripped me out. But it is what it is. And that second goal, like I said, was all Lamine Yamal. After intercepting the ball, he dribbled past 2 players, tries to do a back heel kick to Dani Olmo. The defender intercepts it, but it goes right back to Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal then takes one dribble on the inside, shoots from outside the box. He fired it. Goalkeeper gets a hand on it, but he can only push it to the side of the net. Goal, Barcelona 2-0. At this point, we're cruising. This goal happened in the 14th minute. So 15 minutes in, we're already creating opportunities. At that point, we had 75% possession to their 25. We were all over. Looking at how the team is looking, we can start the regular season tomorrow, and I think we'll be ready to go. I think we'll pick up right where we left off, and we're going to see a lot of what we saw last year. Going into the third goal, which was FC Seoul. I'm going to just say their name is Seoul. If it's wrong, somebody in the comment just let me know. But going into the third goal, FC Seoul, I'm not even going to really complain too much on this. They didn't have VAR. We ended up seeing later on that he was offside. So I forgot the guy who scored, but he was offside. So was it ideal defending? No, because this was the goal where after they played the ball in and they got in behind, but it was a heavy pass that ended up putting them towards the outside of the box, towards the out of bounds. He plays the ball directly in the middle. Nobody's there to receive it. Koundé retrieves the ball. He plays it out to Lamine as an outlet. Now, this is where I think Lamine next time can learn not to try to do too much. He plays it out. Koundé plays it out to Lamine. Lamine dribbles. He tries to do a little bit too much. Ends up losing the ball. And the same guy who tackles him, he didn't even really have to move after tackling. He kind of angled, looking where everybody was at. Plays the ball in. Easy assist. But like I said, I'm not going to trip too much about it, because if this was La Liga, Champions League, any competition worth a damn, to be honest, it would have been deemed offside. So it still would have been 2-0, but in this case, it was 2-1, whatever. But they weren't done, because after going up 2-1, the goalkeeper made a goal line clear. Their goalkeeper made a clearance, went to Jean Garcia, who played it back in to the midfield. The ball was kind of pinging around a little bit, and once it settled, credit to FC Seoul, because as soon as the ball settled, they're playing quick, tidy 1-2 passes. If you're not going to be decisive playing against Barcelona, and Hansi Flick's Barcelona, they're going to press the hell out of you. But if you pass, and you already know where that next pass, after getting the pass, if you already know what you're going to do with it, it's hard for Barcelona to then react and catch that offside. Credit to them, they did that. After some 1-2s, Jesse Lingard played a back heel pass. I forgot the guy's name, but he received it, plays the through ball in. Koundé got outpaced. Kubarsi kept him onside. Like I said, it happened so quickly, so I'm not going to beat up either of those two. These are our starters. And Ronald Araujo wasn't fast enough to catch up. It's just reality, Shit happens. It was 2-2, and it was things that, I'm looking at, and I'm like, okay, I don't know specifically what. In that situation, when they was playing it, quick passes, 1-2, I would have liked to see a little bit more pressure there from either Kubarsi instead of bagging back, which ultimately kept him onside. Just step up. But I don't know if that's the coach's instructions or not. I'm just a fan at home watching like how you are. So I'm not going to be overcritical and say you should have, but I would have liked to have seen you. But if that's the coach's instructions, you follow the coach's instruction. That's on Hansi Flick to deal with that. Like I said, the ball was playing pretty quick back and forth, so Frankie de Jong really couldn't catch up to it. Kubarsi couldn't really react, plays the ball in. It's 2-2. I'm not going to get on Jean Garcia just off the simple fact you just got here. I'm not tired of you. With Ter Stegen, when he first got to the club, we didn't have no problems with him. It was over time we see him not making saves, and he got a bit irritating, and he got to complaining about other things and all this other stuff. But with Jean Garcia, look, you're not going to stop every shot. If they're in on goal like how they are, like how they were, then you try your best to make the save. But credit to him, it was 3-on-1. You probably didn't even expect the shot to get off because it was 3 defenders there. Granted, he was outpacing them, but I'm not going to chirp on Jean Garcia not being able to save that. But right before halftime, on the breakaway, Rafinha finds Dani Olmo, who, like I said, I've been critical of Dani Olmo, but on this one, he did really well. Like I said, he retrieved the pass from Rafinha, and on the breakaway, he plays the ball in perfectly to Lamine Yamal behind the line. Lamine outpaces the fullback, gets to the ball, and if y'all seen the game, or watch the highlights. It was hilarious because Lamine literally shoved him, like kind of like the Jordan push. You know what I'm saying? In 1998 when he made that shot against the Jazz, against Russell. It was kind of like one of those. He just threw him off. Now, he didn't need to do a lot because the player's momentum was already taking him that way. But at the same time, it still was a little push. But credit to Lamine because after getting away with a little bit of a shove, he still had something more to do. And essentially what he did was cut back, take another touch, kept his poise, fired it in 3-2, going in the half. And that was it for the starting 11. In the second half, he made mass substitutions. He put in Szczesny. He had Hector Fort at right back, Christensen, Gerard Martin at left center back, and Torrens at left back. In the midfield, he had Gavi, Casado. At the 10, he had Fermin Lopez. Out right, he had Rooney. In the middle, he had Ferran. And out left, he had Rashford. And honestly, picking up right where they left off, they look good in that second half. This is now the second game in a row where the second unit, to me, has looked better than the first unit. Now, I'm not going to say that means anything. Like, hey, going into match day week 1 in La Liga, let's put the second unit from preseason. I'm not saying that. But in preseason, they have looked good. They have. I just got to be honest. So, to start the second half, what minute was this? This was the 55th minute. So, it was a build-up right outside the box. And in the effort to keep possession, Gavi plays it back to Christensen. He probably didn't think he was going to do much with it as far as like trying to shoot and score. Probably receive it and swing it right, swing it left, or if he could find that dagger ball in the middle, play that. But when Gavi played it back to Christensen received it. He only needed one touch, pushed it out just a little bit so he can get the shot lined up perfectly. And he fires that in. He had to be 10 yards, 15 yards outside the box. Fired that in. And Christensen is making a statement, man. Christensen is putting out there that not only I should be ahead of Araujo as far as the pecking order of center backs, he's making a case that he should be starting. The only thing that holds back Christensen is his injuries. If he's healthy and you can guarantee him being healthy every single game, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm starting him, and I will figure out on the back end if I'm benching Kubarsi or Inigo. That's just me. But it's hard to go full on and trust Christensen because you know somewhere along the line he's going to get hurt. As good as he is, he's not reliable. So maybe that's why he's not an out-and-out starter, because you can rely on him more coming off the bench, giving you cameos of 30 minutes, 40 minutes here and there, compared to just being an out-and-out starter and relying on him for 90 minutes for more than 50 matches in the season. I don't know if he can do that. I would love that, but I don't think he could. But nonetheless, that was a goal. That was a golazo he scored. Great goal from Christensen. And I'll be looking forward to seeing him coming into the new season. At the next goal, I believe, was that Gavi's goal? Was that Gavi's goal? No. Goal number 5 is when... What minute was this? So goal number 5, this was Ferran Torres' first goal. Okay, that's what it was. So it was Ferran Torres' first goal, and the way we got that was a beautiful ball in. Well, before he even got the ball, Gavi plays it out to Joffrey Torres, who then plays a nice little L1 triangle kind of through ball in behind the line. Way to get to the end of that by Ferran Torres, and then when he got to the end of that, he still had a lot to do. He did a cutback, was able to beat the man. And what made this hilarious, and this was like Rashford's going to have to get used to playing with guys that's hungry and is trying to prove that they deserve to be starters. When he did the cutback, he had Rashford for a tap in. And I'm smiling because it's like Rashford was thinking, I'm about to finally get my goal. This is it. He's literally pointing to his feet like, this is where I want it. But I think once he did that cutback and he was successful, Torres was shooting that all day, all night. And credit to him. He shot it and he scored. The Shark. This is why I like the Shark. I like him specifically coming off the bench. He's lethal in his finishing. He's aggressive, but I just don't know if you can get that consistently throughout 90 minutes. So to bring him on 30 minutes, 40 minutes, to have an impact and put up the numbers that he put up, I like him in that role. I think he's perfect in that role. I don't think you can really find a better player out there to do his role better than what he's currently giving us now. So, great goal from Ferran Torres. It was 5-2. The next goal was the goal that made it 6-2 because it was in possession. We was playing some quick passes. Fermin found Gerard Martin. He was pretty high up as a left center back. And then Gerard Martin plays it into Gavi, and as he's receiving the ball, he turns goalwards and takes one touch, and with his left foot, shoots it diagonally across right in front of the keeper. He wasn't able to save it. Hell of a goal. I think this is going to be a big season. Big season for Gavi, in my personal opinion. And while we speaking on opinions, I personally would prefer to have him playing as my midfield trio with Pedri and Frankie de Jong over Dani Olmo. Now I know Dani Olmo offers something different, which is why he's there in the first place. But I'm just being honest. If it's me, I'm playing Gavi. But he still, he came back from the injury and we took our time with him. So I still don't think he's in a place to be starting week in, week out just yet. But I do think over the season, he's going to prove why he has to be in that starting 11. Just give it time. The goal that they got, just whatever, bro. They was on a counter, played the ball in. Only Marc Casado was back, and he got outpaced easily. But, that's why Marc Casado's he's not out there for that. Even if he is a CDM, he's not the last line of defense. And in this case, he was. Torres tried to cross field and be able to intercept the ball, but by the time he got close to the striker, he was able to finish that to make it. At that time, it was 6-3. And then the last goal, again, this is Barcelona in possession. Casado plays the ball out to Rashford, who turns, dribbles, kind of sizes up the defender a little bit. And as he sizes him up, Ferran makes a run behind the line. Credit to Rashford for seeing it. Got a bit lucky because it hit off the defender's foot and it kept the ball going in the direction he was wanting to pass it anyway. So while Rashford deserves the credit on assist, he did get a bit lucky with the pass, but it's all about, did he see it? And he did, and he played it, got a bit lucky, but it was able to get to Ferran Torres, and with his left foot, finished it, shoots it right across him, and that makes it 7-3 at that point. It was goals all over the place. So this is going to be one of my longer videos that I've ever put out, just because we talking about 10 different goals, and if I spend more than 2 minutes talking about each goal, then you're going to end up with a 20-minute video. So I just want to give some shout outs to a couple players that played really well today. First, obviously, Lamine Yamal having a brace, could have had a hat trick. His first shot that ended up being Lewandowski's goal, it hits the post. If that doesn't hit the post and he continues with the 2 goals he got later, that's an easy hat trick. And that would have been in the first half. So mind you, he got the 2 goals he got, creating opportunities, but he did that all in 45 minutes. So with this whole heavy, the number 10 is heavy, it is Lamine Red. I think that was this rushed nonsense. It could have been masked by some of the haters out there, I'm not gonna lie to you. But he did all that. So good game from Lamine Yamal. Another player I want to shout out, I mentioned him just recently, is Gavi. 1 goal, 1 assist, and he only played like 30 minutes. So Gavi is looking sharp. The way he's receiving the ball, the way he's playing the ball, the way he's carrying the ball, the way he's shooting the ball. I mean, everything he's doing right now is turning into goal. And we're not playing him a lot of minutes just to make sure he maintains his freshness going into the upcoming season. So Hansi Flick, that's a great job with that. Another one. I talked about him briefly, but not too much. But Torres looks sharp. He looks sharp. He defends that left side well. He knows how to move forward. I think he's the perfect backup for Balde. Because the issue with Gerard Martin is not really Gerard Martin himself. It's because he's so different than Balde. When Balde is out and Gerard Martin is in that left back position, we almost have to play completely different just on that left hand side. But with Torres, being a La Masia left back, and obviously Gerard Martin is a La Masia left back as well, but he's just a bit different in Torres. He reminds me of more of a younger Grimaldo, or what's that kid's name that went to Betis? If somebody knows what I'm talking about, what is his name? It was just a few years ago, but he was a left back. Occasionally played here and there, but really didn't get enough minutes. I think he got loaned out. Ultimately, he got sold to Betis. But he reminds me of that kind of profile. So when Balde, he's not Balde, at least not yet. When Balde goes out, Torres can kind of give us a similar profile. So good game from him, getting an assist, looking sharp in the cameo that he gave us in the second half. I've already mentioned Christensen. As far as outside of that goal, he just looked confident. He just looks good playing on the ball, and I personally, along with Gavi, will be trying to insert Christensen into my starting 11. That's just me though. And I do want to give a shout out to Rashford for that assist. Like I mentioned earlier, it's kind of a bit lucky, but it's the fact that he saw it, and that's going to ultimately get his confidence up. So that's a good thing to acknowledge. And before I end this video, I do just want to say this: with Dani Olmo, I'm not hating on him. I don't think he's a bad player. He did come in on a big price tag of 60 million euros. He also took the sacrifice of not having any guarantees that he was going to be registered, and he dealt with what he had to deal with in the January transfer window when he was temporarily unregistered until he got his issue resolved before the end of the month. So I'm happy with Dani Olmo being here. I do think he will get better than what we've seen as of today, but I also just want to take the bit of a pressure off of him, because I've seen a lot of online noise as far as get Dani Olmo out of it. I'm already seeing it. So if he has a bad game and it costs us points, I feel like they're going to really start going at Dani Olmo. So I hope that's not the case, but Barcelona fans, man, we can be pretty ruthless. So let's see what happens with Dani Olmo. Like I said, I still would like him to be in the lineup, still getting some minutes in rotation. I wouldn't have him in my starting 11 like that lineup, but I would have him still get minutes because one, he would pay too much. We're not in a situation to pay 60 million and then have him not play. So we're not in that position at all. So he's going to have to play, but I don't know if he has to start, if that makes sense. And I mean, really, that's really about it. Like I said, we talked about Lamine, we talked about Gavi, we talked about Christensen, we talked about Ferran, we talked about Torres. These are all guys that had a really good game that caught my attention. The players that didn't really have a good game, but I'm not going to kill them too much, is Dani Olmo and Ronald Araujo. Serviceable players who can still find a way within rotation. But right now, I wouldn't have them in my starting 11. So that's just what I, picked up from that. But today was a good game, man. After seeing this, it made me realize just how confident I feel as a Barcelona fan heading into the season. I haven't felt this way in about 10, 15 years. I'm not going to lie to you. 10 years. I said 15. That's crazy. 10 years. I specifically said 10 years because 2015, that was the last time we won a treble. We had MSN up front, and I just felt confident. I just felt like that year, remember that Champions League run we went on? Beating English champs, the Italian champs, the German champs. Like, we was just knocking boys out. And in every match going into that, I felt confident. I'm slowly getting to that point. Well, let me say this. I'm there offensively. I'm not saying we have individual talents like MSN, but as far as goal scoring numbers, I feel that going forward. But with this high line and the specific profiles that we have, that's debatable if 2015's back line is better than, I'll probably say it is better than the back line we have now. So that's the only kind of, our Achilles heels. While we seen today, we can score 7 goals, but on that same breath, we can concede 2 or 3 cheap goals, because of the way we play. We're so gun-ho that we may end up conceding some easy opportunities. But like I said, all in all, man, look, at the end of the day, this is preseason, and I want to be consistent with my statements on preseason. take them too seriously as far as the final score. I just want to make sure, are you following the coach's instructions? Everybody leave the pitch healthy? And do we look a bit sharper as we approach weekday match 1? You know what the fuck I'm trying to say, whatever. But that's all I pay attention to. That's all I'm trying to look for. And I think we're getting that with Barcelona. We already seen an improvement from first game. I think defensively we're going to see an improvement going into the next game. And then I think by that point, we'll be ready. But let me know what you guys think. This is one of my longer videos. I do apologize about that. But when you got 10 goals and you got performances, you just want to be able to sit back, just kind of chill and discuss what happened. Sometimes you're going to get videos this long. But again, I do appreciate you guys for watching. If you made it this far, comment Visca Barca. Just give me that. Just if you comment Visca Barca, that lets me know that you was able to make it this far into the video. So I do appreciate you guys for watching. Any like, any comment, subscription, anything you guys can just go out your way. You could be doing anything in the world, but the fact that you're sitting here right now watching me, I'm very appreciative. So with that being said, Barcelona 7, FC Seoul 3, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Great win today, Barcelona. Until next time, OG Two Tone, we are out.